The story begins with Martha calling at the top of her lungs to her son, but no response is heard back. She thinks that the friend of his is a bad influence to her boy, but her husband named Jonathan thinks otherwise. The young Clark, on the other hand, is just up in his room listening to the sound of his music. In the present day, Superman just saved a couple blocking a bolt of lightning using his back. A supervillain calling herself Livewire is charging up once again and then spreading her electricity throughout the city, and the hero is saving everyone flying all over. It seems like someone is telling Superman of what he should do. He got distracted by it, he didn't see the next attack of the villain. But as a man of steel, the lightning strike is nothing as the voice keeps telling him of brutal things, on what he should do to the enemy. The hero didn't listen to it and bravely faced Livewire again, cutting through her lightning. A reporter nearby still do his job, and informs the viewers that Livewire, aka Leslie Willis, is just mad after her new podcast is being pulled from streaming platforms. Thankfully, the recently returned Man of Steel arrived to save the day. A man named Lex Luthor is also watching that news, while being served food by a chubby cook now telling him to move along. The news currently informs everyone that Superman finally apprehended the vile villain, and yet again Lex is brewing something evil on the horizon ahead. The woman screams for her beloved fans that she will never be cancelled, and despite of what happened, the hero is deeply concerned for the woman's well-being. He is then informed by the chief that she will be transferred to a special cell at Stryker's prison. The officer named Kikoa is new to the position, and he is very happy to work with the big man himself. From afar, he hears some distressed woman saying the officiant ran away, then he bids his goodbye to the good officer. He then goes to a wedding ceremony and wed the loving couple, as well as making good memories with all the people there, and everyone is having a good time. At the office, he's still doing his job as a journalist, creating his articles on the computer. A colleague of his named Jimmy interrupted him and letting him know that his new girlfriend has just moved into his apartment. Clark would like to chat more, but he is on the deadline, so he has to finish his work first. Then a voice is heard behind them as the two got surprised. It's actually Lois Lane, a newly appointed editor-in-chief, and she's just letting everyone know that no one will be given any leeway like Perry did. A staff wanted to interview her for an article, but the woman declined, then tells everyone that the news waits for no one, so you better chase it, in her bossy and demanding voice. A little later, she regretted of accepting the new position right away. Then she hears Clark taking it easy because the boss is on his sabbatical leave, so she reprimanded him that she wants a good story or she's going to eat an intern. The husband already knew that, and complimented her being the best editor-in-chief there is. Next, Jimmy invited the two for a dinner to meet his new girlfriend, but Lois is too hesitant to go since the boys' previous ones are all terrible. That voice is heard again, making Superman feel guilty for the 47 minutes he has rested, and so many lives have lost during that time. It also informs him that the metropolis is in grave danger, so he excuses himself from them, saying he needed to use the restroom. But he goes to the rooftop, staring up above the sky, just staring at these two pigeons. Lois then approaches him, trying to know what's going on. Clark confessed that he is hearing the world calling for him, even when using the headphone. But at least the music helps clear my head, he says. Coming from different multiverses, he met all of the Supermen from the other worlds, and returning home makes him happy, but it is harder for him to find his focus now. He explains that he has trained himself of hearing certain people, like Lois, his son, his parents, and even his nemesis Lex Luthor. He's currently in prison, but he claims he wants to help, but the hero just given up on him. The wife comforts him by not feeling bad about it and just distracted him with a romantic kiss. Jimmy nearby interrupted the lovebirds as he is in panic, claiming he just saw something. Lois now sees it too in shock, then Superman right away jumps into action. He approaches this weird-looking typhoon in the middle of the city, and in the middle of it is Lex Corp building. The hero quickly realized that it's made of nanotechnology, then he zooms in. Seeing all these things having a logo of his symbol, it then shines bright and covers the whole horizon. Out comes in front of him is a big S with a woman on it, hoping to catch Superman's attention. He happens to know her, and her name is Mercy, explaining this is just one of many tools at Supercorp. She added, now that Lex Luthor is in prison, the former Lex Corporation will be turned over to Superman. The man says he can't be bought, but the transfer is still in effect, so she gladly shows her what he will get. Inside, she wants the hero to believe that Lex is deeply concerned about the future because something dire is about to happen. What her boss is offering can be used to do good, and her team wants to show him something special for him to see. On the monitor, a cartoon version of himself is talking how Superman has always protecting the city of Metropolis. Then what if Superman needs our help? Not to worry, because the people of Supercorp will have everything he needs to be the best version of himself. And together, we will protect Metropolis and the humanity. The superhero is left dumbfounded after seeing that. She tells him that Lex himself felt that you're the only one he can entrust his company, but Superman thinks otherwise. The woman tries again to reason with him that she is not Lex. She even flirted with him, complimenting his muscular body and intellect. Plus, she wanted him to meet some people. Then she shows his new team of the brightest people the world can offer. The man then suggests that he will just give the company to all the people who work here. But Mercy assures him that Mr. Luthor's lawyers are fierce. If you turn over the company to someone else, half the people in Metropolis who works here will be out of work. Then, to try and convince the superhero again, she would like to show him the level 01. Now appearing in front of them is a hologram of Lex impersonating Superman's father. And with a smile, she thought this would make the hero happy, but the opposite happens. He got mad and walked away from their conversation. He goes into the rooftop and flies like a bullet in the sky. Mercy now contacting her boss that Superman is on his way there. Lex, however, is confident that the hero will not make it as he heard a scream from afar, so he needs to go there first. A supervillain monster is currently attacking a school bus, but got swoop in right underneath him is Superman, saving all the people inside of it. The enemy named Rudy is now being confronted by the hero, asking him how did he escaped from the Star Lab. The mysterious voice is actually coming from Lex from the prison, instructing him to retrieve the absorption cannon at Supercorp to drain the parasite's power. The villain confessed that the lab is hurting him and ran some test on him, so he never been so hungry this now. And with just one thump of his foot, Rudy is pushed far back into the woods. The hero tells him that he needs to go back to Star Lab, as the enemy reveals that it wasn't Lex. Now before him is the villain rapidly splitting into many clones like him, all saying they are hungry. This made Lex smile. Superman should have accepted his offer in the first place. He continues that they are on the same team in this kind of game, as Rudy is now taking over Superman little by little. He's now unconscious on the ground as these multiple villains are feasting on his power. But somehow, they seem to be having some argument on sharing with the others, as the hero still hearing Luthor's words on his head. Finally he wakes up, freeing himself from the grasp of those minions and tries to fly away and escape, but fails doing so. The enemies realize that he's still weak as they attack him altogether. Superman can't fly for now, but with a little energy left, he still manages to jump high on the side of a building. Then he continued doing it, climbing up the wall until he got into the rooftop. Still exhausted, he notices that the city seems to be too dark. Then he uses his powers to take a good look of what's causing it. It's beginning to be a dark age as multiple parasites are now draining all the electricity they could find throughout the city. Meanwhile, a group of villains are having a meeting and currently having a heated discussion of what's happening outside. First they argue about their group name, the Secret Order of Mad Scientist. One says it's quite demeaning. Then a woman is really concerned of what their leader named Graft did. Releasing Parasite to the Metropolis will only just draw Superman's attention to their group. Graft notices that his brother behind him has something to say. Next he whispers something on him, on which the leader explains that releasing Parasite to the city is just a progress to their brand. And he assures them that they are just getting started. After this experiment, all of them will be greatly rewarded beyond their wildest dreams. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. See you on the next one.